Hello and welcome back to TF1C, the Formula 1 chat, where today we're going to be doing our first video actually on Formula 1.
Yeah.
And it's, my 2023 Formula 1 driver lineup. So we're both going to be going through our lineups for the 2023 Formula 1 season.
Some are the same, some are different.
Yeah, I think, well, I've gone for very bold predictions here. No point playing it safe.
Just, nice little message for... Do not hold us accountable to these. We are probably very, very wrong.
That's accountable.
Something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that'll do. These are probably going to be wrong.
You're probably going to hate them.
You might hate them.
If you do, make sure to comment that.
Yeah, if you do hate them, make sure you subscribe.
Before we get into ours, make sure for you to go and comment your driver predictions or who you'd like to see where down below. Feel free to put them all if you want, and we will reply. Or within an hour.
Give
or
us all your thoughts on our predictions.
Yeah, on our and call us stupid if you wish.
Should we get into it?
Well, should we start from the worst team or the best team?
Let's go for the worst team.
Oh, creating dramatic
Mercedes.
suspense.
No, sorry. We'll start from Haas. We'll go all the way up to Mercedes. I think you read out your order because mine's a bit different. So,
well, the only difference is you've put Alfa Romeo above Aston Martin. Oh no, it's all over the place. Right, yeah. So, we'll start from Haas F1. Obviously,
who have you gone for
at
Haas
the moment?
F1
It is
team?
Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
But I'm predicting an entirely new driver lineup for the 2023 season of Sergio Perez and Guan Yu Zhou.
I like that.
That might be... Yeah. I think that's very bold.
I do.
But
it is bold.
I don't see much point in playing this safe because that's just a bit pointless. I'm going to go for Perez and Zhou, which obviously leaves an Alfa Romeo and a Red Bull C.
Exactly, yeah.
Big foreshadowing for later. But yeah, I think Haas would need the cash without Nikita. So Zhou brings in a lot of that, but Perez also has a lot of wealthy sponsors that bring in money. So they're both bringing a little bit of money. I think Perez is a much better driver. Zhou is a decent driver. He'll do all right. He's better than Mazepin, in my opinion, so he'll do better there. Perez will bring the experience and will be able to kind of mentor Zhou. So I think a Perez-Zhou lineup at Haas would be very good for everyone involved.
I also agree that Sergio Perez won't be at Red Bull next season, and I have put him in the Haas seat.
I think it's harsh from both of us to put Perez down there because he is...
Although,
he's not had a terrible season.
We don't know what this year...
And he could have a very good 2022.
Haas could be a good car, though.
For mine, there's kind of like a couple, if Perez does well, then maybe this won't happen or this...
Yeah, so I've also put Sergio... But I've kept Mick Schumacher at Haas.
Yeah, I could see it. I
still think he'll be around.
I've pushed him on in his career, but...
I do think, eventually after 2033 he might get an Alfa Romeo seat and then eventually into the Ferrari seat. I do think he will get that Ferrari seat one day.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I think Leclerc and Sainz are both very strong drivers. Leclerc's obviously the golden boy and Sainz is a very good backup. If neither of them drop their performances...
Might not be the
if neither of them drop their performances, then I think those two will be... the lineup for the next 10 years.
Who knows? Williams?
Yeah, Williams F1, what have you gone for?
I have gone for Guan Yu Zhou, who you've put in a Haas.
What else? You've put him in a Haas, how unlucky of him.
But I've also kept in that seat Alexander Albon. I think Albon will have a good season. I think he'll stay there for 2023.
So no King Latifi?
No.
Or if you moved into Merc?
Oh no! I think Zhou will have a good season at Alfa Romeo. But I think that Williams car is better than Alfa Romeo, and I think to replace Latifi, obviously money as well. Zhou will bring in the money that Latifi would brought in, but Zhou's a lot better of a driver.
I haven't gone for any pay driver because I think Williams will have enough money by then. They obviously have Dorton Capital involved now.
Yeah.
So. And they're looking at other sponsors. I think they'll be all right. That's why I've gone for a return to Williams for Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping Alexander Albon in there as well. I don't really see any way that he moves up in the sport, but I do think he'll have a good season with Williams. Williams, we don't really know what's going to happen in 2022 to know where the cars are. So we're doing it based on 2021 order, but Williams could be a big,
that's the thing,
much higher up.
Like Haas, for example, we put Perez in there. He could still be fighting for podiums in that Haas in 2 years.
Yeah, and Red Bull could be one of the worst teams, and actually Max Verstappen goes to Haas.
I was, with my Williams seat, I was thinking about Bottas' return, but I did go for Zhou. There's a reason I kept Bottas, or I didn't put Bottas in that seat. Should we move on to Alfa Romeo?
Alfa Romeo is the next one, and I've obviously got, so because I've put Bottas and Williams and Zhou and Haas, I've obviously got a completely new driver lineup for 2023 of Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher. Now,
I love that. I'd love that to happen.
This is a bit of a, I just really want to see them teammates together. But equally, I don't think it's unrealistic. Like, Vettel hasn't really performed as expected in the Aston Martin, but I just don't. I don't think he's going to stay. He could.
He could.
He could very much. I think he will struggle next season, maybe a little bit. Maybe Stroll outperforms him, and then Lawrence will start looking for a new superstar to take that seat. And I think him and Schumacher would work really well together. He'd kind of nurse him through. For Schumacher, it's a step up, but he still remains in that Ferrari driver academy. I know obviously Alfa Romeo don't have a seat controlled by Ferrari anymore, but they still are a Ferrari engine.
Yeah,
they're a Ferrari customer engine, and they do have a strong tie to Ferrari. So for Mick, it makes a lot of sense. He stays in the Ferrari driver academy, looking potentially for a Ferrari F1 seat in the future. And I think the two of them will work very well together there. What have you gone for?
As I said, I put Zhou into the Williams, but I kept Bottas, although I was thinking about a Williams return with Bottas. So I kept Bottas because I've put another rookie next to him in Théo Pourchaire.
I think that's bold, you know.
I think it is very bold, but
because he'll be 18 come the start of the 2023 season.
He will be, but I think
he's very young.
The 2022 F2 season, I think Pourchaire will have a great season, possibly even win it. But then, unlike Piastri, he will get.
It's a lot of competition, and obviously we'll do some videos on F2 as well. Yeah, come close to the time of the season.
Pourchaire. I think he's a good driver, and yes, he's young, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And
obviously Alfa Romeo want to promote him into their team as soon as possible to stop any other team coming in and poaching him. Because say Red Bull, like, we can give you an AlphaTauri seat. I think he would take that if he's not being offered the Alfa Romeo seat.
Yeah.
But yeah, a bit of an oversight on my part not putting him in. But I really like that Vettel Schumacher partnership, and I think it's the only way that
Bottas will kind of stay at Alfa Romeo for the next couple of years and then eventually retire. Maybe go back to Williams like you said. But I think Pourchaire will be I think he'll do well. And I think he'll be in that Alfa Romeo seat and maybe progress further if he does well.
I think Pourchaire is a very talented driver, deserves that step up.
I really do.
If he can show his talent in Formula 2. Right, next up, AlphaTauri.
Where are they? They're there.
I've gone, again, completely different driver lineup. Two changes.
Done two changes.
You've also gone for a double change. I have Liam Lawson and Jehan Daruvala.
Yeah. That's bold.
They want to promote their young talents up into Formula 1. And I have some interesting destinations for Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. I think Lawson and Daruvala will be the best performing Red Bull drivers, though. I think Vips could fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
Next to Armstrong in the high tech. I think Lawson's performance will only go up in that Carlin. Then you've got Daruvala. He's in the fastest car now. Yes, he's alongside Dennis Hauger, but I think people overestimate Hauger a little bit because Piastri came in and dominated last season. But I don't think Hauger will do the same because, yes, Hauger's F3 was more dominant, but Piastri won it in a much more competitive field. You had Pourchaire, who was fought him right to the line in that season. So
it was a very good battle.
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think Hauger will progress as quickly. I'm going to go Lawson and Aruvula for that AlphaTauri seat.
I've also gone Lawson.
But you've backed out, haven't you?
But I have backed out.
I knew it as soon as you said it.
I think he will do what Piastri did, but again, I think he will get a seat and he will get his chance. It would be very early for him, going from F3, F2 to F1.
But
in
equally,
3
Piastri
years.
could have made that jump if there was a seat available.
He should have been in that Alfa Romeo.
Which I think he could still, and we'll have a video explaining why out in 3 days after this one. So make sure to subscribe and put the notification bell on to see what that is.
But yeah, I think Dennis Hauser will be an exceptional driver. Obviously, Red Bull Academy, AlphaTauri with Lawson. I think they do very well, and then depending on how well they do and who does better, could eventually get that seat in Red Bull.
Yeah, you make some good points, right? I forgot to mention Alfa Romeo is so far the only team where we both have complete different lineups. Every other one we've kept one, I believe. We have one in common.
One in common.
Yeah, whereas Alfa Romeo is our only one where we both have completely different lineups from each other. So up next is the Aston Martin team, where I've actually gone for a bold claim. Do you want to go first?
I have, yeah. We'll get mine out of the way. I've kept Stroll and Vettel. Bit boring, but I think Stroll, he'll stay there. It's his dad's team. There's no reason why
I
he would
only
leave.
moved Seb because I wanted to see Seb and Mick together.
And I think Vettel, I don't see a reason for him to leave. They got a podium this year. You'd like to think that the car will be better going into 2022 and 2023.
I think if it's not, then Lawrence might sell up.
Yeah.
And buy Mercedes.
He might. He's got a lot of money.
If that Aston team isn't at the top.
And then wonder who would get into
and Stroll and immediately move Stroll into Mercedes.
That was an option for my Mercedes seat, Lance Stroll, on the whole point. But we'll get onto Mercedes eventually.
Later, yeah.
I think Vettel will stay there. Stroll and Vettel, I think they'll do well.
I've also kept Lance Stroll, obviously, because his dad owns the team. He's got a lifetime contract for as long as he wants there. Mm-hmm. Alongside him, though, I have put former AlphaTauri driver, and current AlphaTauri driver, Yuki Tsunoda. I think it's a bit of a bold one because he didn't have the greatest rookie season ever. He was certainly a lot better than Nikita and Mick.
He was.
But yeah, I think he'll have a really good 2022. And I think he'll be making a step up rather than him being forced out of the Red Bull Academy, because I don't think there's a clear route for him now to the main team. So if he does start to perform really well in the AlphaTauri, I don't see where he goes, because that looks like it's very much Max, and then Perez at the moment seems to have nailed that down. Obviously, I don't have Perez there, so I've done something there. But Gasly's an option. You've got obviously a load of young drivers coming through that will also be looking at that seat as well. I think for the sake of Tsunoda's career, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to jump across to Aston Martin, especially if that car does look quick.
Yeah, I really like Yuki Tsunoda, and also I don't know how well done for but I will let you know now, I have not got Yuki Tsunoda on my 2023 grid.
Wow. Yuki Tsunoda getting dropped from Formula 1.
I just don't know how well he can do in 2022, and I believe that everyone else I've got a seat for deserves.
I think if he doesn't, either way, I don't think he will be at AlphaTauri in 2023.
No.
I think if he doesn't perform, he'll get booted out of the sport entirely, and if he does, they might try and hold him, but I think one of the other teams will poach him away because he's a very quick young talent.
Young Red Bull drivers that could have an F1 seat going in 2023.
Yeah. All right, that's Aston then. Onto
Alpine.
Onto our top 5 teams now, and the first of which is the Alpine, the Endstone outfit.
I've gone, for me, what really.
This is one of the only ones we agree on.
Yeah. I believe this lineup.
Pastry.
This lineup could have been this year.
I think it still could if Lewis Hamilton doesn't return. And
we'll get on. That'll be a later video.
Esteban Ocon and Oscar Piastri in the Alpine, which we've both gone for.
I think Alonso will retire from racing. I still think we'll be part of the Alpine team. You know, we've seen how well he get. You know, him and Ocon, and I think he'd also help mentor Piastri.
Well, they've got Otmar, right? Otmar Safnauer.
Yeah, they have as well.
I don't know if that's. I can't remember if that's confirmed or if that's speculation that he'll join. but I believe
like
they have
speculation.
Otmar Safnauer.
But it's really
He could. I think Alonso will retire and could then become kind of an advisory role.
Yeah.
And maybe do like Le Mans and stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he will. Yeah. He won't be in Formula 1 come 2023. Because I think as well he will spot that he is blocking the path for a generational talent in Oscar Piastri.
He will want Piastri to do well, though. I think
I do think Ocon could make the step up. In which case, Alonso might stay and nurture Piastri for a season.
That is the other option.
Which I think isn't a terrible idea.
That's probably a better idea than what I've done, but yeah. I think Piastri is an exceptional driver, really, really quick.
Yeah, looked fantastic in Formula 2. To come in and dominate the way he did in his first season is just unheard of.
So is Ocon. He won this year at Hungary. Yes, it was a bit of a weird race, but still, he managed to.
But to show the composure, to just come through and keep calm and win.
I think they're both very quick drivers, and I think in 2023, if that is the lineup, Alpine could do really well.
Agreed. Right, Ferrari, and I think it's another one where we both agree because it's obvious. So obvious. I've not seen a single person not predict the same thing for 2023, and it's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. The Monegasque and the Spaniard are just
obvious.
It's just so obvious, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Because Leclerc is a generational talent. He's got a lifetime contract at Ferrari, unless something goes monumentally wrong next season. I can't see him going anywhere. Carlos Sainz is a perfect wingman, but I do think he could challenge the hierarchy at Ferrari because he's quick enough, and he did finish the championship out on top. And if the Ferrari is strong enough to fight for a championship in 2022, I would back Carlos Sainz to win it over Leclerc. I think Leclerc is a quicker driver, but Sainz has a better awareness and racecraft and that. And I think across a whole season, he's much more consistent, and I think he would see out the championship, whereas Leclerc might gamble a little bit too much and throw it away, whereas Sainz would be very controlling and calm about it.
I think, whatever happens, unless something, as you said, goes monumentally wrong.
Yeah,
those two
the two of them are crashing into each other every race, and there's some kind of big falling out.
Those two will be at Ferrari for the next few years.
I think they might be the strongest lineup currently.
Yeah,
but I think they're second strongest on my grid for 2023.
Yeah. Why? I think they could be third. No, they are second on mine.
Interesting.
Should we get to top three?
Yeah, sure. McLaren, what have you gone for?
I have kept Lando Norris at McLaren. I think he'll be there for donkey's years. I think he'll be there for definitely the next 3-4 years. I have partnered him with IndyCar driver Pat O'Ward.
Trisha O'Ward, yeah.
The Mexican. He's Mexican, right?
He is Mexican.
Yeah, just to make sure. I think eventually he will make that step up to F1. I think he's a good driver. And I also have Pat O'Ward, but I do think he's overestimated a little bit. I don't think he's going to come in and be as good as Daniel Ricciardo is, which is, I think he'll only come in if Ricciardo was to leave to join a different team. Definitely. I don't think they're going to kick Ricciardo out unless Ricciardo can't get up to speed. I mean, it took a while this season.
But I think
going into 2022, I think he'll do well with the new regs. He might even end up guiding Lando through, getting used to the car and helping each other out. In 2023, though, I don't think Ricciardo will be there. I think he'd have left for, maybe left for sport, maybe left somewhere else. Who knows where I've put him? But yeah, I think O'Ward will come in. He'll do an all right job, and he'll be a very good wingman for Lando Norris.
Well, I've gone for a bit of a weird one. No, I've not kept anyone at. I've got rid of both Lando and Daniel from the McLaren team, and I've put in Patricia O'Ward and Pierre Gasly. I think Gasly is very good, and he deserves a step up to a bigger team.
Yes,
I don't see him getting that Red Bull seat though, and I think if McLaren lose Lando and Ricciardo to bigger teams, then the perfect replacement is Pierre Gasly. Yeah. I think he's the strongest driver outside of Red Bull and Mercedes and Ferrari right now. Well, and McLaren, I guess.
Yeah. Out of the top 4, he is the strongest. That's not really.
Like right now,
yeah.
primes, obviously he's nowhere near Seb or Alonso, but right now, I would say he's the best. Like he's the best driver.
Yeah, I think he's a very, very good driver.
Yeah, and
I think in a top team he would do really, really well.
Ooh. Yeah. Right, so that obviously means we've got Red Bull and Merc left.
These are the big ones.
I've still got Ricciardo and Lando without seats. And you've got Ricciardo without a seat. Is it going to be a Ricciardo return to Red Bull? Is Max Verstappen going to leave the sport? Will Hamilton still be there? Let's see. What have you gone for?
I have got Mazepin. No, I'm joking. Wow. Calm down, guys.
Max gets replaced by Nikita Mazepin.
I've got the obvious one, which is obviously Max Verstappen. That's obvious.
Of course.
What I have done is I've put a return to Red Bull for Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
I think he's an exceptional driver, especially this season. I think next season he'll do even better. Then going into 2023, Red Bull give him a second chance. And I think alongside Max, they will do so well.
I think 100% Pierre Gasly deserves the step up to Red Bull. But I think he's burnt bridges there. And I don't think he'd want to go. He doesn't...
That's the thing, yeah.
He doesn't really get on with the Red Bull guys. You know, he got dropped from the team.
See, yeah.
And they didn't even consider him, really, for 2022.
No.
At least, obviously. And that's why I moved into McLaren instead. And at Red Bull, I have Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, which I think would be the strongest driver pairing.
That's the debate I had for myself.
This is a little bit of just a personal thing for me. I would love to see Lando and Max together. Yeah. My fave 2 drivers. Obviously, my favourite team, Red Bull. And I might be a little bit biased. I might be a bit stupid putting them together.
I did have.
But I just really want to see it happen.
It took me forever to get. I took ages to decide which one to put in Red Bull and which one. I mean, I can see Lando at Red Bull and Gasly at McLaren happening. I put it the other way round. I don't know why. I guess I just felt that I don't see Lando leaving McLaren.
Obviously, Lando has just signed a big contract with McLaren.
To what, 2025?
But Red Bull did approach Lando going into the 2022 season to race for him. But he did then sign the big contract with McLaren. I don't know whether McLaren will be as quick going into next season.
If McLaren are not quick this season, he will leave.
If in 2022 McLaren aren't on the same page as the Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, I think he can be tempted out of that contract. And Red Bull have the money to buy him out of that contract. And realistically, I believe Lando Norris is the only... Well, him and Charles Leclerc are the only drivers that can challenge Max's domination in the next decade of Formula 1.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you've put there.
Because others say Russell, but I would disagree at the moment. I don't think we've seen enough from George Russell to judge that he could do that. I think Gasly's also just below that line. I think Russell's well off it. But...
Yeah, I agree with Lando at Red Bull. The only reason I put Lando at McLaren and Gasly at Red Bull is I don't see Lando leaving, as I said. I just really want... Gasly deserves that Red Bull seat, so I really want him to go there.
Well, Gasly could also... I mean, Gasly deserves a step up, but there's a lot of options for him. You know, he could take that Mercedes seat as well.
He could.
Anyway, talking of
the last team,
Mercedes, the big C. Will Lewis Hamilton be there or not? Do you think he will retire? What is your prediction for the Mercedes driver lineup?
Nikita Mazepin. No, I'm joking.
Again, it's Mazepin.
Why does he want to keep signing? You're not coming back, mate. You're out of the sport forever.
You've gone to Formula E and you're racing for Dragon Penske. Yeah. Take it.
I have kept George Russell and I've partnered him with Daniel Ricciardo.
Wow, how disappointing that we've both gone for the same picks as the final team. But
I think Lewis Hamilton will retire in 2023. That's if he returns.
He doesn't retire before, which will be the subject of our video coming out on Tuesday. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. But
for that one.
Russell, I think he'll have a poor season at Merc the first season.
I don't think he'll have poor, no, actually not.
Fair enough. I believe he'll have a poor season, but Merc will stick with him, unlike Red Bull, who like just ditching drivers.
I think he'll have an okay season. Merc will stick with him. Merc will trust him, and in 2023 he'll have a very good season. And I think Daniel Ricciardo will they'll look that realistically their replacements for that Merc seat aren't that big.
Obviously,
long term.
We don't know what's going to happen with the regs.
No.
But it is quite presumptive that Merc will still be up there. I don't think George Russell will have a good season. I might have egg on my face come December, but I don't think George Russell will pick up a podium this year, and they will stick with him. But obviously, with Hamilton gone, they'll want someone in that's going to bring in the big points. That's why I've got Daniel Ricciardo. I think he could, if the McLaren's quick enough, he could win the championship. He could win the championship and then leave McLaren for just maybe a last hurrah at Merc.
Yeah.
Or something. Or maybe he's staying.
Has a bit of
And if McLaren are off the pace, I think he'll want a move to Merc to try and get that championship. Almost out of desperation. Mm-hmm. They'll want someone with experience to replace Lewis while Russell builds up his experience. Then maybe they could move in a more inexperienced driver like Mick Schumacher or something. But I think Ricciardo at Mercedes makes a lot of sense for everyone involved. I think they'd obviously want Max Verstappen, but I don't see him leaving Red Bull, at least for the next 2 years. Unless they're like the slowest car, then maybe he will. Well, you'd imagine he would, but I don't. Obviously it was full of emotion, but in his speech, like right at the end of the race, one of the first things he said was, I hope we can do this for the next 10 to 15 years. Or something like that. Can we do this for the next 10 to 15 years? He's committed to Red Bull. He wants to Red Bull. Unless the performance drops off significantly now or at the 2025 engine regs, I don't see him going anywhere. I think that could be the greatest partnership in Formula 1 history. I mean, they already ranked 10th for wins for a single driver at a single team. I don't see him leaving. I think he'll stay at Red Bull, have a very successful career. And I genuinely think he will absolutely dominate the next decade. But that is a topic.
Dominate, but I think he will.
I think he will.
He'll be up there. He'll always be up there in the fight. But I think he will be challenged by other drivers. Yeah.
Obviously, there is a lot of drivers missing out from these predictions. Obviously, retirees. You've got F2 drivers that can't really make the step up because there's not enough seats. I do believe we need more teams for Formula 1. Obviously, it's believed we could see 2 new manufacturers join in 2025. Porsche and Audi, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
Porsche and Audi. Thinking of Formula E there.
No, I'm thinking of Arab's Garima.
Oh my God.
That's my head.
Shout out Arab.
Yeah, mate, if you really
this idiot thinks your career mode is real. Yeah, Porsche and Audi are both interested.
Yeah, sorry, Porsche and Audi.
I hope they actually make teams though. Don't just like join people.
It doesn't become.
Because one of them could jump in with Red Bull and make the powertrain.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Rather than Red Bull powertrains.
Red Bull, Audi Racing.
Something like that.
That's quite nice.
Yeah, if you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And hit the bell for notifications whenever we upload. Loads of new content coming out for the F1 season.
F3,
we'll be covering F1, all the feeder series.
A little bit of IndyCar. Everything, all the motorsports,
of course,
bike racing.
Formula E season has now kicked off. It's exciting. We'll be discussing that and all the races. Formula 1 is back in March, which we are absolutely buzzing for.
Cannot wait.
Liveries coming out over the next few weeks. Very excited for them.
Especially on the new cars.
We'll be making videos on every single livery.
We will.
And then ranking them all in a tier list because that's what we love to do. But
that's what we do around here.
Of course, thank you all for watching and we'll see you next time.
See ya.